Hey guys, welcome back to day 6 of Toku Week. I'm your host, Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have...
The Cinder Blaze.
And on today's show, we will be taking a look at Space Squad Gavan vs. Dekaranger. This happened. And there are good parts and there are bad parts. A lot of bad parts stem from the story and even some of the direction, but we'll talk about that. I want to talk about some of the good stuff. What did you like about this, Alex?
Mad Gavan was definitely a standout for this movie. Unfortunately, he didn't have too much screen time as Mad Gavan. Mm-hmm. But when he did, he took command of that fucking battlefield.
Yeah. His fighting style, it was pretty neat.
Yeah, it was really aggressive and super clean. Yeah. Every single slash he made was effective. It actually did something. He was just flailing.
He had this weird stabbing sort of attack pattern.
Yeah, but it basically forced everyone to react to whatever he was doing. He wasn't just wasting time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also,
it felt dangerous, and everything he did, especially the fight next to the. It's not a van; it's a truck. Yeah, the fight next to the truck, that was pretty brutal. A lot of the fights in this were pretty brutal, actually.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like the brutality... Oh, no. Oh, wait, yeah. Yeah, this movie was definitely more brutal than Girls in Trouble.
Well, that one was a bit tame. That was more of a fan service thing, and,
I mean, they did die multiple times gruesomely. But this movie somehow managed to pull off something even more gruesome.
Yeah, because I think every single casualty that occurred in this movie actually felt like a real casualty.
Did it though? Because they all got retracted. Everyone that you thought was in any sort of danger wasn't. They just straight up weren't. Because they weren't going to kill off any of the main heroes. No one died in this other than villains.
Yeah, but I don't remember anyone actually being in mortal danger. But they were
Shelly. Oh no! Then again, they needed her life force or whatever.
Yeah, that happened a bit that happened later in the movie. So yeah. That's a bit exempt. Mm-hmm. But throughout the beginning part, when Mad Gavan was just wrecking havoc, it actually didn't feel like they were getting hurt. When they were getting their ass whooped, when I forgot his name, when Doggy and the Silver Ranger were fighting him in that one building.
No, the Deca Break.
Yeah, Deca Break. When they were fighting in that one building, holy shit, he styled on them and they could barely fight back at the end.
Yeah, that was such a cool fight though.
Yeah, it showed off all of them,
yeah.
Deca Break got to
even
pull all of his techniques and we got the feel that Deca Break was actually fighting to his fullest capabilities, and same thing with was Doggy's Deca.
Yeah. Oh, Deca Master.
Oh yeah, Deca Master. Yeah. Same thing. With him.
Mad Gallant caught him in mid combo and blew him away, and on top of that, Sakamoto does really well in comboing their poses into a fight string, into a fight sequence. And I love it because Deca Breaks is basically punching out, and then I don't know, it was really cool. And anytime I see, or anytime like Doggy's on the scene, and he transforms, his what is it, like, subtitle, Hell's Watchdog. Oh, that will never not be cool.
Yeah,
never.
That was like pretty badass.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I guess that's like the norm for people who, grew up watching Dekaranger and all that stuff.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it, and like Sakamoto seemed to pay enough attention to their gimmicks, like the gimmicks of each of the characters, but I feel like each of the characters' gimmicks were only really put in just to say that, hey, I remember that there are gimmicks that they have. And parts of the story are going to lean on some of that just because I want to tell you that I remembered what they were. And it just felt like a checklist of, oh, hey, that's a Dekaranger trope. That's one. That's another. Like, it wasn't entirely necessary to have those tropes in there, but I mean, I suppose it was welcome. Because, like...
Well, then do we want to, like, transition into, like, the actual, like, role the Dekarangers had in this movie? Just, like, their characters, not, like, plot too much, but...
Yeah, sure, let me give it a quick rundown. Okay. That was it.
I don't know, I feel like Pink had a lot, like, much bigger role in this, like, movie comparative to, like, the other Dekarangers.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember seeing Blue at all.
Oh, yeah, he just showed up. That's all that Blue did. And, like, half his character was just pulling out his SP license and looking it up on Google. I don't understand that. And also, Red was barely in this movie. Why?
Personally, I feel like that's not like a bad thing because they were planning on making this more of like the prelude to a series, right?
Yeah,
like
kind of positioning Geki in that leader role.
Yeah, and since like Red is still technically leader of his own thing, it would make sense for him to kind of be like a bit more independent. He's not like strictly with the Dekarangers anymore.
No, yeah, he's on the Fire Squad.
Yeah. So him doing his own thing just made it, sense. I kind of wish
I love how like we it's so hard excuse me. It's so hard to pair Geki up with people. So we're going to take someone else's side characters and pair them with them. Because we've only been pairing him with main characters. We got to give him some side characters.
Yeah,
and they just, like, the Dekarangers felt like an insert side character here sort of thing. And just because they were police and vaguely related, that's why it happened this way. And, I mean, like, there's popularity for the team in general. But, I don't know.
Yeah, but, like, at least for, like, the beginning part of the mission, it felt like the Dekarangers did bring a little bit of order to Geki's usual chaos style.
Yeah.
if that's what we want to say. I mean, they do get, like, swept up in it, like, eventually after, Mad Gallon kind of just, like, messes with everyone. And Benny Kiba, like, as well, just, being a thorn on everyone's side. And just 1v5ing the Dekaranger, or 1v4 the Dekarangers, basically.
I did appreciate, and I mean, like, it's a lot of what Sakamoto does. It's like he establishes this through line. If something's done in the show, he wants to recreate it in his movies, and I feel like that helps just to establish some sort of like continuity with them. So anytime Benny Kiba would be fighting and she has a final attack to use, she consistently uses the same tummy touch attack. Just one arm over her head and then smack him on the belly. Sometimes it's lethal, sometimes it's not.
Sorry, like the way you describe that, it kind of is like, I'm imagining like a fat belly and it's kind of like jiggling,
can we dive into like the kind of horrid stuff of this movie?
It's kind of hard not to.
Yeah,
we're kind of already
right.
dipping into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I feel like even the fight scenes were a little weaker this time around because generally, like, in recent years, Kamen Rider, when he directs Kamen Rider, there are tons of gimmicks that he can combo into each other. But with Dekaranger barely has gimmick stuff. They barely have a second form. And friggin' Gavan, he just transforms. There's nothing really flashy outside of the initial flash about it. You know?
Yeah, except for the finale, because he does get like super flashy then, but that's only in the finale. Like, it doesn't really.
Yo, why are we shoehorning in Just Beyond? Was that like a thing back then? I mean, I know I'm asking you this, but I'm really just asking in general, because you don't know. Like, so Just Beyond, his planet, or the people of that planet created the original what's his name? Gavan's sword?
Yeah.
Is that the thing? Also, like, we introduced this Geki side plot that effectively makes him useless. And like, it really serves to just dash his character. And it's the sword thing. Cause I watched the like his original movie, not original, just the movie that he came out that
he debuted
typpe-g, and then I watched the Sharavan and Scheider direct to DVD movies. Those were also directed by Sakamoto, and those were okay. But this, like anytime I see him on screen, they always introduce something to screw him up, and it just makes it look like he's a bad hero. Like, when we're introduced to him in his own movie, freaking Gavan has to come out of nowhere and be like, "Hey, you're a man, right?" Bam! And beat him up until he becomes the main character. Sure, that works once, but then when he's just goofing around in the side movies and then coming back here and then basically losing his sword, which is a space shear of soul, apparently. I don't know when that was introduced. Maybe it was like an old-timey thing. But that really bothered me, because, like, you're dashing his character again because you want to bring back the original Gavan to walk in with his long sword and give it to Geki in this sultry moment between the two of them.
Yeah, that was a very intense moment. You could, like, if you just look at their eyes, like, there's a chemistry there that you can't compare to anything else in this movie. Not even like Deca Green and Pink have that kind of chemistry with each other. Like, that's
they barely have chemistry with each other. I don't know where it came from, because like I haven't finished Dekaranger yet, but like where I don't see it between the two of them. It's just sort of happening. Like, Pink just wants to be married, and I think Green's just happy to be with Umeko.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like too big of a focus. I mean, they did get married in this special.
Did they? No, we got to see them almost get married twice.
Oh yeah, but we did get to see a wedding, I guess.
Yeah. And like, having this as Toei's big push to create their own quote unquote cinematic universe for Toku. And it's not even all Toku. It's only Metal Heroes and Sentai. Because there's a scene toward the end that we'll get to, but like, they only ever reference Sentai and Metal Heroes. There's nothing said about Kamen Rider existing in this universe. And like, I know that the Taisen movies are just horrible messes and probably aren't canon, but like, we only really get to see Gavan in those movies, and I haven't seen them. And really, I think he only showed up like once or twice, but like, I feel like he's been a better character, or at least a good enough standalone character in other movies than he has been here. Because, like, again, a lot of the times he's just getting thrown around and beat up.
Geki?
And not being an effective cop.
You're talking about Geki here?
Yeah, Geki. My bad.
Yeah. I had tons of issues with Geki in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you were talking about how he lost his sword and, like, how much that affected him, it kind of made me realize that unless this guy is like, just, you know, face-tanking the villains, he's useless. He absolutely does nothing, and he just, like, runs around and starts being a manly man, and...
Yo, okay, I like, for all the crap I give this movie, they really use the music well, and I absolutely love Gavan's theme song. It hits at the perfect moment. Ugh. It's so good. Like, it gets you hyped.
Yeah, like, despite that flaw in his character, when he is given a scene, he does capture it pretty damn well. Like, the music helps.
Yeah.
Like, actually, the director did a really good job with just, like, the whole transition into the climax as a whole, because... Or at least, okay, I can't say that, because for the Dekaranger side, it was very weak, in my opinion, but for Gavan and, you know, Mad Gallon, it was great.
Yeah, I felt like Dekaranger was a stepping stone to get to, you know, the ending that we needed to get Geki into this team mindset. You know, in order to create a team. And I'm fine with the actor, because, like, he has the chops to carry a film. Like, he has the chops, but like the stories he's given, it's really not helpful to his character at all.
Yeah, it makes him really unlikable, and that's not, like, in a good way, you know. Like, for villains, you want to write them so they're really easy to hate. But this guy is just like, I have no reason to root for this guy, honestly.
Yeah,
and I want to.
Yeah, no, exactly. Me too. Because, like, the actor seems really nice, and, you know, some of that is coming off the screen, and it takes a certain amount of charisma. I don't know that he has, you know, a lot of charisma, but, like, a certain amount to take those scenes and be like, okay, but he's still cool though. But
yeah, you know? Like, honestly, I do get entertained whenever he's on screen.
Yeah, like, he has clear motivations each time, and, you know, I like Geki, and I want him to have better stories surrounding him.
Yeah, actually, I think one of the reasons why he feels, you know, so, like, or why his charisma is, like, so much better in this movie is because the Dekarangers don't really have any. Like, even some of their iconic characters, like Deca Yellow, I mean, like, she's a pretty one, yeah, we get it, but in, like, the actual movie, she doesn't demand much screen presence. I mean, she talks a lot, but that's about, like, it's kind of boring at times, but that's it. And Deca Red, he's barely in here, and when he does show up and his gun is making, like, those pitiful noises, and Gavan has this
those sounds.
giant ass sword making, it's not just, like, the weapon, it's just if you compare, like, the sounds,
they're pretty out of date sound files.
Yeah, like, I was like, you can just increase the volume on that. I mean,
no, you can't, or else it'll start to clip. Right? That might be the right term. I don't know. Either way, it probably won't. If you max it out, it'll start to, like, make these popping sounds. That's sound stuff.
Yeah, but that's, like, if you're actually getting the old file. I mean, you can update friggin' Laser Blast. There's so many.
God. No, you can't, because they've, like, Sentai and Rider, they've been using the same bad-looking explosions and the same bad-looking for years. I mean, like, they have that same laser rifle sound from the original Gundam still playing sometimes. The original Gundam. And I hear it. They reuse everything. Yeah. Cost cutting measures, my man. And oh my goodness, this is a complete tangent, but like Gokaiger, I thought they're like, you know, anytime they saw a key, it would shine and have that sound. That kring, you know, that's a bad rendition of it. But that swing sound is heard all across Sentai. Any gimmick they find, swing. It's the same one. I thought it was unique to Gokaiger because that was like one of my first ones. No, it's all over the place. So they reused tons of sound files.
Yeah, it just felt kind of out of place in this movie.
It did, yeah. You know what else felt out of place and that pissed me the hell off and almost made me want to stop watching the movie?
The Dekarangers?
No.
Okay.
No. Friggin' how they treated Shelly. What the hell?
Oh yeah, because Gavan actually has side characters too. He's not
side
just like
character. Oh wait, no, he has the chief or whoever.
Yeah. Like
I'm so angry. Like that was so gratuitous. We didn't need that. And there was so much. There was so much of Mad Gallant in his human form wailing on Shelly. What did that scene like do for the audience? What was it supposed to do? It was supposed to show that he's a despicable character, sure. You can do that in any myriad of ways. But they chose to give this screen presence for like well over a minute or so, like throughout, like, you know, in total, like a really good chunk. Just watching him beat up Shelly, and it hurt to watch. It was some of the worst stuff I've ever seen. Yeah, you can say that it's, you know, like, oh, Sakamoto can do
job.
Huh?
Like it technically did its job because it made the villain more unlikable.
For me, it made the movie unlikable. Like anytime I go back and think about this movie, I'll be like, hey, yeah, some of the cool stuff, but like the really glaring bad stuff, that is at the top of the list. And why it's hard for me to pick up this movie every now and again.
Yeah, I think I kind of want to like transition, like, I know we're talking about Shelly, but I feel like I kind of want to like talk about Mad Gallant's human form a little bit before we transition into Shelly, because in the beginning Shelly didn't really have much of a role. We just knew that she was a
shapeshifter.
Yeah, but I think they should have at least established like a better dynamic between her and Geki, because
I mean, like the problem is like a lot of this is assumed to be informed because like there is a lot of required reading. You can go into it without any, but it's definitely helpful because we did get to see the slightest bit of rapport between the two of them in Gavan's own movie and in the Tyson movies, or just the one Tyson movie that Gavan was in.
Yeah, it's like, at least for me, in this movie,
yeah,
you know, she had too little of a role in the beginning of the film to justify her significance at the end, you know?
Yeah.
It just felt like a little bit unbalanced. But let's move on to the villain real quick.
Yeah.
Because he...
Diaper boy! Good old diaper boy!
Oh, man. They did not handle like the reveal of the villain that well at all. The second he appeared on that TV in that stupid diaper commercial, we knew he was the villain. Like,
yeah, and then the lady was like, "Ooh, this they're like, this is a good company, but people are thinking bad stuff is happening. Why? What backwaters dealings we get a diaper company up in like, and like they were saying something about a quick rise in popularity, but okay, never mind.
Do they sell like adult diapers too, or like?
It depends. Alright,
kudos to you. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, and them just like, beating around the bush that, oh, maybe he's evil, and
yeah.
That's
if we already know, because like Toku is pretty transparent most of the time, and if you're not using that to your advantage, then you're not doing it right. I don't know. And I don't want to I don't want to like go up to Sakamoto and say, "Hey man, you're not doing it right," because he's been doing it right for years. It's just that there's something about this movie that just, it felt like he took too big of a role. Either that or just like he was floundering with an abysmal story.
Yeah, that one especially, like the writing in that part especially was just kind of like laziness, because that insert commercial at the very beginning to foreshadow the villain at the end, that's too easy of a plot device. And honestly,
we
for
need
kids
to set up this guy. Let's just have them watch him on a TV screen. That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
And oh man, Sakamoto does his best to try to make that work.
Yeah. It's not like totally bad because this is technically like for kids. So, having
what are you talking about? This is I mean, like, kinda. It was marketed like with the Kyuranger crossover, sort of marketed that way, but like, and I said this yesterday in the Gavan episode 0 review, but because like for Blu-rays and stuff, the Japanese market markets Blu-rays to collectors, really, because they're super expensive, and like kids aren't going to be able to get their hands on that as easily. I mean, that's at least what I've heard. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Don't quote me.
Yeah, so for Toku in general, at least for like Sentai, and I'm not too sure about Space Sheriff, but Sentai especially, their plots tend to be a bit more like simpler to grasp, and that sometimes it adds to the charm of the episode or movie. For this one, it was just like it kind of worked against the movie,
Yeah, it works when you can look forward to something, but it doesn't work when you're like actively trying to pull the veil over the audience, because you haven't. It's Toku, so just own it and like go from there. Like, since we know who Matt Gallant is already, there's no point in hiding it. So let us like throughout the movie know a little bit more about who the villain is. And we're not going to need the scene where he grotesquely beats up Shelly.
Yeah, that was like he sees Shelly and then someone whispered into his ear, "Now beat the shit out of her," and he just does that. Like that's how bad. Like that's how unfitting that scene was. It felt like super unnatural. Like at the very beginning. And if he's just like an asshole, I can see it, like him doing that, it would make some sense because, he's just an asshole. But it didn't need to last that long. Like, that lasted like 20 times longer than it needed to. It was just...
Like, if you really wanted that, we could have done with like maybe one punch and then cut away. If you wanted to imply it, and that's fine.
Don't even have to show it.
Yeah.
It's... Oh, man.
You could show the aftermath or whatever, but like it didn't need to be that edgy.
Yeah, it felt like Sakamoto was trying to prove that he could make a series pretty dark
Yeah.
There's there's a way to do that doesn't look so, I don't want to say cheesy, but it just looked, it was sloppy. Honestly,
it was. It's like it really doesn't fit Toku at all. It's not in their lane.
No, because there are some darker Tokus out there, but for the mood of this movie, especially, we didn't really. Why would we expect something like this, like a brutal beating?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tonally, it really clashed.
Yeah, this is a pretty dark-ish Toku itself. Not totally
I
dark.
guess we kind of just dimmed down the lights. It wasn't that dark, really. I mean, we have basic Sentai plot of, hey, gonna get married, but kooky old Gavan shows up and screws it all up. Also, he broke his phallus, so he has to get a new one from an old guy. Use his old phallus to clash phalluses with a dude wearing black.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything more to talk about. Oh,
there is that final scene where they just intercut tons of, they just started not name dropping but face dropping.
Oh yeah, all the
Sentai heroes and metal heroes. So we, in quick succession, I'll go through the list that I've compiled. During the fight, we had Juspion name dropped because his planet created Geki's new old sword, the one that the first Gavan gave him.
Yeah.
And we got to see him do the slash behind him or whatever. And then we got to see, I forgot if it was either Scheider or Sharavan, but they used the Dekarangers SWAT mode Zord, like the old
giant ass gun.
Yeah. So there was that. That was neat. Stuff like that's cool. But then you have that ending with, what we see? We saw Jiraiya, who last time we saw him, he was in Ninja and Ninja. Then we got a little bit of
Shoshin... Sorry. I just felt like saying that.
I hate you. Then we got a little bit of Choshinsei Flashman. Got a little bit of that. We got Hayato Kano, who is a metal hero. We've got Chikyu Sentai 5-Man. Got Jan Persons, good old robot dude. Seiju Sentai Gingaman. Takuya Kai, who's another metal hero. Kohei Toba, another metal hero. Denji Sentai Mega Ranger. Blue SWAT. Denshi Sentai Denziman. Or Denjiman. Kido Keiji Jiban. The 3 Space Sheer. Oh, no. Okay, my notes are weird. Yeah, so we saw. If you didn't follow what I was saying, then good. Then you've watched the scene, because it's just as confusing. Oh yeah, we've compiled a list. It was just as jarring as in BVS when Wonder Woman gets all the files of the Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman neatly put together and named with their symbols. What was the point of that? Why not just throw in some neat, I don't know, or even just have their files, look at the files briefly and have that as a quick scene. You don't need to stay on it. Have a little faith in, because this is straight to DVD. We can pause the movie and dissect it later. It'd be cool just to see, oh hey, dudes in suits, and we're gonna recruit them, and they look vaguely familiar.
Yeah, but this movie has a habit of just, like, making some scenes linger.
Yeah, and like it really talks down to the audience too. Like, oh hey, didn't know how to characterize Mad Gallant, so basically we're gonna stay on this scene where he beats up Shelly, and make sure he's bad. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, like, his human side did not have enough screen time to, like, actually have a reasonable, like, motivation for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just, the regular, it's like a super generic one. It didn't really have any kind of, like, real feeling behind it that, we would have to care about.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, I'm a villain, and you guys are heroes. Let's fight.
Yeah, and the basis of Mad Gallant is pretty weird, too. Because basically, he took the soul or whatever of the original Mad Gallant and then just puts it on as a suit. Like, this movie is so reliant on old stuff, and like, hey, you said a name, and I understood that reference. Like, it's so reliant on that it doesn't want to, like, create a new character or anything. Even, what is it? Butterfly Ninja Benny Kiba, she's carryover from, like, older stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not sure about you, but I feel like her power level was a bit too high for this movie.
In what way?
Well, like, in comparison to, like, other villains, like, there was, like, no chance at the Dekarangers ever beating her. Like, they would have to, like, rely on, like, some sort of, like, gimmicky plan. Speaking of which, Deca Pink's character at times got annoying. Like,
a little bit.
I mean, like, that's probably her trait from the actual series, but when we're considering, like, the pacing of the action scenes in particular, when it gets like those kind of like super high tension moments, and then she just starts like singing for an extended amount of time. Yeah.
No? Okay.
I mean,
no, like, she sung that in Dekaranger. Like, again, it was like a checklist of stuff that they do. And she did that in the first episode of Dekaranger. I don't know if she did it later. I have a feeling she did. But, like, that's a song that's, like, it's a common, like, Japanese song, like, Wheels on the Bus.
Yeah.
But, like, it's used a lot in Sentai. Like, the last use of it was Go Busters that I can remember.
Yeah. Like, it's not, like, that big of an issue, because, like, that's just who she is. Like, and they've kind of already developed her character to be kind of kooky like that within the movie itself. So it felt, natural, but the other Dekarangers didn't really pull up any slack whatsoever. Blue and green especially did not show up.
They were just there.
Like, they showed up less than, like, Red, and Red actually wasn't there for most of the movie.
I don't know. I feel like they got more time than Red. Just not enough meaningful time.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they didn't show up as in do something with their dang screen time. I mean, like, Bon Bon actually kind of, like, looked cool and acted cool. So, like, I was really entertained by when, like, he was on screen. But it kind of made me sad that he didn't really do anything of, worth.
Yeah. There was something that bothered me that I wanted to touch on, but I forgot what it was. It was like a problem structurally, and when you said something about Pink.
Oh, was it like that whole plot twist thing that
Oh, yeah. It basically, the movie, and again, I used this example already. Spoiler alert for Wonder Woman if you haven't seen it. The movie basically lies to you. It tells you one thing, and you're expected to believe that until they're like, "Oh wait, no! This is not necessarily as the scene from a different angle. It's just an extra scene that we just omitted so that you'd think bad of another character. It was the scene where Gavan runs off after Mad Gallant and then doesn't say that Dekapink told him to. Like, the movie actively lies to you and again talks down to you, and it doesn't have enough like faith in its own narrative that it would lay down all its chips.
That felt like cheap drama to me, you know?
It did. And I feel like if we still got that scene, like the scene in between and like everyone being mad at him anyway,
we would have actually sympathized with Geki a little bit.
Exactly.
Know?
So why leave it out? Whose benefit was that for? The Dekarangers? You've already disparaged them enough throughout the film. Why try to give them more? And
were they writing like a Tyson film? And there's God. Oh wait, these guys aren't actually gonna fight each other. Oh well, let's just keep on going. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, and since we're already pushing the Dekarangers to the side, they don't need much. They already don't need much, and also, why does it feel like they're on an equal playing field when clearly like the Dekarangers have more experience? I felt like it'd be better if they played up the whole like older younger thing, like, hey, learn from us, but also we can kind of learn from you and your fiery spirit.
Aren't they around the same age though?
Huh?
Aren't they around the same age though?
Are they?
I'm not sure if in universe, but they sure do look the same age.
Do they really?
Geki and the Dekarangers, yeah.
Talk about something else. Let me look it up.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just keep on talking about it because.
Great.
Yeah. Well, for Deca Red, I mean, he does look basically the same. So technically, I mean, it doesn't even feel like that much of a superior in comparison. It's just like you continue.
He's the same character.
It's like
the reason I said that is because like it seems like a generational thing. Like he was, for his team, he was the fiery red hero, and that team needed a sort of reinvention or reinvigoration with another person, and that would be the young flame of Geki. They need that young blood.
But he looks so old, dude.
Does he?
Yeah, I mean, okay. If you compare him to Blue, then yes, he does look young. But compared to everyone else, even Green, I feel like he looks older.
Who are we comparing the age to? Should we compare it to Red? Red to Geki?
Yeah, but like Red's also a bit unnatural because he aged pretty well.
Hold on, let's see. Deca Red, Bonbon Akaza. I'm kind of sad they didn't use the Battleizer for Bonbon.
Yeah, but they did use swap mode for like all the Dekarangers, so that was pretty neat in that they used the form. But I also hated how the fight scene was just. I mean, like that first scene where they kind of like all like shuffle into the corridor. I feel like if they shot that from like the other perspective, it probably would have looked better because there was like nothing to see when they were running towards an enemy because we know his lasers aren't gonna hit anything. So,
oh shoot, you're right.
Aha.
Red was 1981. Geki is 1982. Holy crap! Geki looks young to me.
He looks. I don't know. He's not like too old, but he looks, around 40.
Huh. I mean, I guess that'll help me recontextualize. How old is Shelly? Frick.
Well,
I'm assuming she's just super young.
Yeah. Well, she was from a more recent Sentai in comparison to Dekaranger, so I don't expect her to be too old. But I don't know. however old she is, she won't be having kids anytime soon.
Why would you need to say that? 1992. 1992. So
oh no, that's because like
she is 10 years younger, and they were. Never mind. They were trying to push this weird like she likes Geki thing earlier.
Yeah.
Not in this movie, just
that's
in
fine
the narrative
in its
of the
own
Geki
thing.
Yeah.
But no, I'm referring to like when Mad Gavan basically punched her insides. Like,
oh my god.
Oh man, that was inhumane.
Yeah. It was horrible. It was hard to watch. Yeah. And I hate to keep harping on one problem, but it is a glaring issue.
Yeah, like if you like talk about takeaways from this movie, like that scene is honestly so like disturbing in a bad way. Like you can have those grotesque, like kind of cruel scenes. This one like took too long, and it wasn't really helping anyone. Because like the villain, like didn't have any like deep motivations behind his actions in the first place. Because he didn't have any development before that. So when he was doing like this cruel act, it was so like empty, you know.
It was jarring too.
Yeah, but
again,
like, we can have like one of those jarring scenes, but it didn't really it didn't matter, and it just looked kind of just like messed up.
Yeah,
you know? And I didn't really like attribute it like, oh, you know, this guy must be really evil. It's just like, wow, this movie literally has nothing to do.
Yeah.
And
yeah, no, it was like quick and dirty characterization that was not helpful until
it wasn't long. Quick and dirty. It was very long and painful.
Okay, I think we've talked about this movie just enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that just about does it. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to tell us what you thought about this movie, if you even saw it, I don't know if anyone's really even seen this movie. Tell us in the comments down below what you thought. And subscribe if you want to hear more from us each week, and specifically this week, because it is Toku Week! Right! And today's day 6 of Toku Week, and we are building up to the premiere of Kamen Rider Build.
Trash.
So stay tuned. I hate you. It's a good joke. It's a good joke. Stay tuned to this channel because tomorrow we're going to be getting the next episode of Toku Turnback inside Toku Week. And then the day after that, we're going to be reviewing the Zyuohger movie. And then after that, on day 9 of Toku Week, which technically I guess this is well over a week. But hey, more is more. We'll hopefully be reviewing Kamen Rider Build. If it doesn't come out on time, we'll put something else up. We'll see. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. See ya.
Bye.